I do not know what to tell you about spiritual life, but I consider this place as a place of pilgrimage for me. Why I call it a place of pilgrimage? Because in this center I lived with a Swami, Swami Prabhupada, who has taught me many good things for my own spiritual growth and for my own advancement in the realm of the spirit. I miss him very much, but the old devotees of Swami Prabhupada and other great Swamis should bear with me when I say that spiritual life is something very difficult to live. One should forget called romantic ideas. And in order to live a true spiritual life, one has to develop an inner search, an inner quest, an inner dissatisfaction with mundane values of life, which are not only distracting but inimical to spiritual progress. We therefore cherish in our memory the thoughts of great ones, the great theologians of the West, like say Saint Augustine, Thomas Aquinas. When I was a student in St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, I memorized the 7 proofs of God advanced by the doctor of the church, St. Thomas Aquinas. But he had a wonderful vision. And after that vision, he did not write anything. Because all the summas that I have written are mere straw. Similarly, when a man becomes illumined, then the scriptures will appear to him very insignificant. In the beginning of our spiritual life, we are to think, and our thoughts will be called standardized thought. I belong to a particular religion, and that religion is enough for me. But when we study science, we find that standardized thought cannot satisfy the intellectual curiosity of a thinker. Take, for example, when we read the book of Genesis, God created the world in 6 days, and his 7th day he took rest. But we have a center very close to a called a Seventh-day Adventist church, and they celebrate Saturday to be the Sabbath day and not the Sunday. So you will find there will be difference of opinion among the liberals and the conservatives. The conservatives will explain things literally, but those who are thinkers, they will think for themselves. They want reason. Why should I accept? So a similar situation came to me. And I came to Udbodhan. And one Swami, a senior Swami, said to me, who will take your responsibility? I thought of Kant, of Hegel, of Plato. Plato was my favorite philosopher, Plato. Then I said to him, I can take my own responsibility. Why should another person take my responsibility? In this country called rugged individualism. So I did not want to come to the West because I was not fit. But anyway, destiny has brought me here. But I am talking to you about my life in the year 1916. I used to go to Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda Maharaj, because of Swami Akilananda. He said, I will take you to a holy man. He will give you real spiritual strength. I said, I have to play 6 games for my tennis. And if you can wait for me, then I will go with you. And there I came. I met Swami Brahmananda Maharaj in 1917. You see this, why? Because the memory of Swami Brahmananda comes. He was, I called Guru Bhakti, embodiment of Guru Bhakti. How I wish I have 100 part of that. So anyway, he used to tell me that all these things that you see around is all the grace of Maharaj. It's all the grace of Maharaj. So anyway, so I used to go to called Balram Bush's house. See. But one evening Maharaj was not present. He went downtown to see a devotee. Then some devotees of Sri Ramakrishna said, Holy Mother has come. She is in Udbodhan. Do you like to see her? Then I asked Akilananda whether he would like to go with me. He said, no, I have seen Mother. I have an engagement with a senior Swami. You better go. So I came to Udbodhan and I was seated in the office. And there Swami Dhirananda said to me, who will take your responsibility? And I replied that I can take my own responsibility. Then he said, you do not know anything of spiritual life. Yeah. And then he gave the example that suppose you go to a temple, which is called a cave temple, and there, all cave temples are very dark, but probably things are better now. So if you go and to see the deity, you will bump your head. But suppose there is a torch bearer, he used the word torch, you will call it a flash bearer. Suppose somebody holds a torch or a flashlight and shows you the way, you will be able to see the deity and come back unharmed. Then I said to Swami, what do you mean? Will you try to explain to me? That you ask Holy Mother to shower her grace upon you. Try to take initiation from her. But initiation Guru will not give unless you ask her. So you should go and approach her. Then one brahmachari came and said, those who want to see the mother, you see, the mother could not be seen by men all days, but women, ladies could see her, because ladies considered their very own. They were permitted. But men could go on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and also between, say, 4 to 6:30 until Vesper time. So I was asked by the brahmachari, who was the person in charge that I must not talk. He said in the meantime, those who are going to see the mother, you must not speak anything, only touch her feet and go by one staircase, staircase in front of Golap Ma's room, and come by another staircase which is in front of Swami Saradananda's room. So I followed his instruction literally. Mother had a veil. I touched her feet and then came back and sat in the office. Here comes Dhirananda. Swami Dhirananda said to him, say, did you ask Holy Mother to initiate you? I said, Maharaja, I was not permitted because the brahmachari who took us upstairs said that you are not allowed to talk, and I followed that. Then he called Rajbari, Swami Arupananda. They take this boy to the mother again. But I shall have to tell you about Swami Dhirananda. Swami Dhirananda was a very orthodox Brahmin, and he liked Brahmin boys. And you tell that he's a Brahmin boy, he goes to Maharaj, and he studies in the college. I gave a little recommendation, you must say. I did not have to give my resume. So a second time when I went, I could see the face of the mother. You see. Swami Dhirananda. But mother was very fond of Swami Dhirananda because Swami Dhirananda served Holy Mother when Swami Yogananda was in charge. After Yogananda's passing away, then Swami Sarananda got the responsibility. Although for a short time it was Swami Trigunathithananda. So I went this time upstairs. Mother came to know from the report of Swami Arupananda that I go to Maharaj. Maharaj knows me. Then mother said, why Rakhal can give? Because in those days, Mahapurush was not giving initiation. Holy Mother and Maharaj, Swami Brahmanandi Maharaj. So Rakhal can give. I will call it is a God-sent thought came to my mind. And I said, Mother, if you bless me, it will be a great good fortune. It is a great blessing for me. It will be a God-sent thing for me. Mother agreed. Said, come after 2 days. Take your bath in the Ganges and wait there. I will perform the worship and will call you. But don't take any breakfast. Then I came back and reported to Swami Akilananda. Akilananda was pleased. But we made a common friend. He said, you are too young, you do not know the meaning of initiation. You better go back and tell Mother, probably after some years when I am ready. But Swami Akilananda discouraged me. So on previous evening, we went to the College Street Market, brought flowers, sweets, fruits, and then cloth, a red bordered cloth. And Akilananda said we should also give some Guru Dakshina. Guru Dakshina, that means honorarium. You see. So Akilananda and I went on the appointed day. But the previous night, I had a kind of conflict in my mind because I have heard from Swami Akilananda and other Swamis of the order that you must not tell the teacher what mantra he should give. As you do not tell the doctor, you see, if you have got cold or anything, give me penicillin and all that. Don't give any suggestion, you see. Let the doctor decide. Similarly, let teacher decide. You see. So, But I thought I like some certain aspect of God. But if Holy Mother gives another aspect of divinity, probably it will appeal. It will not appeal. It will not be appealing to me. So I could not be. I would not be satisfied unless I was able to express my own thoughts. For a good length of time, I could not sleep. I was thinking, if Mother gives, I have to accept. Agya Guru Nama Vicharoniya. The words of the Guru are to be followed without any kind of reservation and doubt. Then I went to sleep. But the Mother asked me questions. Then he gave called the mantra. It rang a bell in my heart. But that is the aspect of God that I liked, you see, in my own way. Then I thought Mother must be great. But here I have to tell you about something. The West has forgotten the need of an illumined teacher as a guru. The Church has taken the position of the teacher. I belong to the Episcopal Church, that is enough. The West has accepted two types of thought. One, the standardized thought given by the theologians, and the second kind of thought, which I call the systematized thought, or rational thought, which has been given by the scientists, the great explorers and discoverers of the laws of nature in the external world. But spiritual life is to be communicated and transmitted only by those souls who can give magnetic thought. By the word magnetic thought, I mean their thoughts are so powerful that will transmit spirituality, they will give inner peace, they will give light in the midst of darkness. So this magnetic thoughts comes from holy life. One common denominator of all religions is purity of heart, as Christ has beautifully put it. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. The purity of heart comes from inner life, sanctified by the touch of God, purified by the vision of elevating ideas and ideals which are actually true. Therefore, I can think of this magnetic thought that was given by Swami Brahmananda. There is a beautiful passage in Shankara's Dakshinamurti Stotram. Gurustu maunam vakshatam shishyastu chinna samshaya. The Guru spoke in silence, and all the doubts in the heart of the disciple were broken into shreds. So it is not simply by lectures. It is not by writing beautiful books. It is by living a simple life, a holy life, a silent life, a sanctified life, man gets that power from God. And so I have to speak of the first is called the Guru Shakti, the power of the Guru, not only to become an exemplar or a mentor, but a transmitter. And that is the reason why Holy Mother has said to her disciples, that whatever I have to give, I have given at the time of initiation. Because an illumined Guru remains in a exalted state of consciousness, which I call God-conscious state of samadhi. But the student is not in that state. There are different states there. You see, that is what the Shankar philosopher speaks of. It's called the growth state. You see, we gravitate towards food, shelter, and clothing. Higher than that, called the subtle state. Subtle state where our thoughts are pure. We think thoughts which are constructive. We do not think thoughts which are destructive. We do not think of an atom bomb to destroy the world. And therefore, although here I will not speak about this, because that is not my called field. My field is spirituality. Spirituality comes only from holiness of life. And therefore, the West has accepted called reality. There is a general theory of reality given by Einstein. What is that general theory of reality? The general theory of reality of Einstein is energy equal to mass multiplied by ca square. What was ca square? Velocity of light. To me, the reality is equal to m. Reality equal to m, not what you call nature. So West has accepted reality equal to nature. Then plus T or thought, as grasped by thought. But the Vedantic idea or the Eastern idea, reality is equal to man, and then transcending thought. If you live in the thought plane, there will always remain a distinction between the thinker and the object of thinking and the process of thought, called Triputi Veda, Triputi. We have to transcend. So when I did not understand that Holy Mother, although I have said Holy Mother was great, but it was mere word. Who understood Holy Mother? It's Ramakrishna understood. Then Swami Sarada and the direct disciples of the Master. So Holy Mother had that tremendous power, and that is the reason why I find that the convents in the East and the West have sprung up by her blessing, by her grace. You see. I was amazed to see when I went to different places, different centers. They are so fond of Holy Mother. A book has come, Holy Mother and his teachings. Another book has come by Swami Aseshananda. He has written Holy Mother as I have seen her. So you find that she lived a silent life, a holy life, but a magnetic life, for transforming the life, the vision, the understanding of individuals. Therefore it is to be noted that Guru Shakti is transmitted through a mantra. You see. We are not great. We have not that power. I have understood very little of the Mother. But the little that I have understood, that has given me tremendous encouragement to live this monastic life. It is through her grace I could join. Otherwise, I was thinking of joining called Abhayashram group, the political group, you see. Because that group said, salvation of the soul can be postponed, kept in the cold storage. But salvation of your motherland is more important, you see. So even when I came and joined the Ramakrishna Math in Vellore in 1921, you see, they came to take me away. These people who are there, they are living a kind of a good life, comfortable life, you see. They are not following Swami Vivekananda's teachings properly. They should go into the villages and work and like that. So you come away with them. But Sri Ramakrishna said, where are you going? Stay here. So anyway, so that so after coming to the Math and getting the privilege of serving Swami Saradananda, then I got the idea, you see, that Vedanta is very difficult to understand and to practice. We may understand a little intellectually, you see, but to practice Vedanta and reach the goal of perfection is not an easy matter. So when I first joined, I thought if I can live this monastic life and do a little bit meditation, I'll be living in 1 year. But now the years have passed, you see. That is why I have written in my book, in the preface, I have seen her face. I have heard her words. Now I seek her grace with all the longing of my heart. You see, yes, whom I have seen, that thought comes to my mind, whom I have seen. But when I saw her a human aspect. Yeah. And also sometimes I used to think that after all he was a village woman. Village woman. She does not know any, she was a village woman. She will not be able to solve any of my problem of philosophy. But at that time I was not studying called Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishad. I was very much attracted to the Western philosophers. But they are good, no doubt, but they are not so brilliant as Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is outstanding. Yeah, he will win the palm of victory. Although Plato is considered the most outstanding philosopher of the West, Dr. Whitehead said all the philosophers after Plato, I have written only footnotes to Plato. But Thomas Aquinas was influenced by Aristotle. He was to only Bible and Aristotle. His hierarchy is something like a bandbox universe. Close, neat and tidy. Tight and tidy. For that the scientist will not. Therefore, if I am to speak about, I like Einstein and theory of relativity. The theory of relativity, you see. Through the intellect, everything that you know is relative to your consciousness, relative to your mind. And that is, therefore Kant appeal to me, the German philosopher Immanuel Kant. Because you use the categories of the mind, categories of the intellect. And what are the categories? And there are three are the categories. Space, it must be an object in space. It must be an event in time. And there must be a relationship between cause and effect relationship. But when Aristotle speaks of unmoved mover or prime mover, and St. Augustine accepts it, it will be a definition of personal God. But personal God, according to Shankaracharya, according to Shankaracharya, is aparavidya, is a lower knowledge. Similarly, theological understanding of God, even if you have known and passed your examination by writing a good thesis on 7 proofs of the existence of God, it will be called, it is a lower knowledge. The higher knowledge is a personal experience of God in a state of transcendental consciousness. It is turiya, the 4th state of consciousness. Therefore, Holy Mother, you see, lived in that state of consciousness. This moment she was doing the worship and feel the presence of Sri Ramakrishna. He will not come away from the shrine unless Sri Ramakrishna would accept the offering. The next moment he was talking to the devotees. That is why Bhagavan Maharaj, Swami Premananda used to say, we have seen the power of Sri Ramakrishna, but all powers are hidden in the case of Holy Mother. So anyway, the point that I want to speak, that magnetic thought when the teacher gives, that is the reason the life is transformed. Vision is ennobled. So Holy Mother's, this mantra Shakti is come. But I did not understand Holy Mother. Therefore I've written in that book, Glimpse of a Great Soul, I went to Swami Sarada. Because when I became the private secretary of Swami Sarada used to give detailed instruction what the disciple should do. You see, first you have to see it and do this, one step, second step, third step. It was very methodical. In every matter it was very, very punctual. Very punctual. But Swami Vijnananda, in this sense, if he has to go to Allahabad, his train will leave at 8 o'clock, he will take leave of the Vellore Math, give goodbye to all people at 4 o'clock. So each is different, but who am I to judge? Yeah. But Swami Sarada just maybe 10 minutes before. Yeah. And he was a very balanced person. Swami Sarada was a very balanced person. I have never seen what you call agitated or ruffled, unperturbed calmness. You see. So anyway, the second point that I want to say, that a magnetic thought comes from immortalized life. It is life deep gets that thought. So this is a place of pilgrimage. An illumined soul comes, you see, this power will be increased, will be enhanced. You see. the place of pilgrimage. Why? Because here the daily worship is done. And it is our belief where there is, they call the relics of Sri Ramakrishna, and we perform worship with, with all the rituals that are necessary, then the power remains. But I believe the power remains through purity of life. If we cannot live a life of renunciation, you see, if we follow the bhoga marga, the life of enjoyment, we will, the Maharaj used to say, we'll be like preachers of religion, not authentic teachers of religion. And so here that is the reason why when I said that I will be able to attain illumination in say 1 year or 2 years, 3 years, it is not easy. Illumination is not an easy thing. The most difficult thing is that. But through the grace it is possible to regain this very life. That is, the reason says, I long for her grace with all the, I seek her grace with all the longing of my heart. Therefore, Guru Shakti, then the sadhana Shakti is necessary. What does it, here you see, the sadhana, for the student, there should be kind of relationship between the teacher and the student. Teacher, what kind of relationship there? Relationship will be like that a mentor. His words, one should question. One should ask intelligent questions, not questions which are just for spending time or showing one's own talents. So therefore, this Shakti comes from the sadhana. From the sadhana, you see. That is what Swami Aseshananda said to Sarada, who became called Bharati Prana. So when Holy Mother entered Mahasamadhi, passed away, Sarada wrote a letter that I feel that the world is empty. I have nobody to look after for my guidance, my help. Then Swami Aseshananda wrote that you have served Holy Mother, but try to know her Swarupa. What is her true nature? Swarupa. You have served only her Mayic form. The name and form belong to the world of Maya, means to belong to time. Her real nature. Meditate on that, only through sadhana. So anyway, that when I was coming, therefore another concept that I would like to present to the Western world is the concept of God as mother. It has nothing to do with the female principle. It is in my way of interpreting. It was taken from the Shanka philosophers' idea of Prakriti and Purusha. All evolutions stem from Prakriti. And a Prakriti is a compounded substance or reality, you see, with three forces called Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. You see, when they are in perfect equilibrium, there will not be any creation, any kind of projection, any kind of manifestation. You see, similarly, in spiritual life, we have to cultivate through our own sadhana an abundance of spiritual power or spiritual power, which is called sattva, sattik. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna would accept only those people and make them his instruments who are of a sattik nature. That is, he said to Swami Premananda, Har Shuddha, Naikusya Kulin, Bari Shuddha Sattva. It is due to the impressions of previous life, they say, all right. So this Sattva Guna, that is the word, that is what Christ also, I think, that blessed are the pure in heart. And what is the sign of Sattva Guna? It is Dhruvashmati, constant remembrance of God. You see, when Sanat Kumara gave instruction to Narada, Narada had intellectual knowledge, you see, but he had not that spiritual wisdom which comes from personal experience with God. So Sanat Kumara gave him this instruction, Ahara Shuddho Shatta Shuddhi, when your thoughts are pure. But Ramanuja uses thoughts, Ahara Shuddho, he takes it literally, that you have to take sattic food, means vegetarian food. And not even garlic or onion, you see. And this vegetarian society can give a picture of Ramanuja. Why I say he lived 120 years. 120 years. Buddha only 80. Christ 33. You you see. Swamiji is 39. So anyway, so this 120 years lived by living on Roshok and Korobu. I was in Madras, so I have seen also Ramanuja's birthplace, you see, and also Ramanuja is great. But Sri Ramakrishna has come in the present age to bridge the gulf between personal God and impersonal God, between science and religion, between this life and the life beyond. So that is the reason why Sri Ramakrishna did not stop with the realization of personal God, but he went farther. Although Bhairavi Brahmani dissuaded Sri Ramakrishna, and then he practiced the Advaita sadhana at Nirbikula Samadhi. So these are the three steps, as it were. You see, when we are body conscious, then God is outside. When it becomes our individual soul conscious, God is antarjami, inalienable, immortal. But when we reach the transcendental state of consciousness, you see, that I call timeless realization. You see, that we say, life is time's full. Time that can have sway over the whole world must have stopped. Time must have stopped. What does it mean? Time must have stopped. Every day time stops when you go into deep sleep, but you remain the same person, no change of personality. Time must have stopped only in Samadhi, where ignorance is completely dissipated, when the ego is not at all manifest. It is all the Atman, is the real self. And the real self of each and every person, whether man or woman, child or an adult, is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, is eternal, Nitya Shuddha, pure, Buddha enlightened and free. So through the grace of God, this realization is possible. And I can give you a small example. You see, when I was coming to this country, I had to come. First, I thought of coming from Bombay to London, and to London, you see. But Swami Nikhilananda, Swami Kailashananda, he arranged that I am going for the first time. For the first time, I should have a companion who knows a little bit of Western civilization and all that. At first, I was not willing to come to the West. You see, it is necessity. Necessity. You see, why? Because I was not speaking in those days. I was not a lecturer, or I was quite content with serving Swami Sarada Devi. You see, and I thought to remove the dust from the shoes of Swami Sarada Devi will be much better for me than lecturing or doing all these things, public one. So anyway, but Swami Madhavananda wanted to go to Mauritius, because the Swami left Mauritius and there was no Swami there. Then I heard from Swami Aseshananda, who went there, came back in Madras, that the colonists, it was in the British colony, they grind sugar cane 6 months and grind the souls of men for another 6 months. And it scared me. So somehow, but Swami Madhavananda was a very strong-minded person. If he has made up his mind, you have to give valid reasons. Swami Madhavananda came here, you see, in Santa Barbara. He dedicated Swami Madhavananda and Swami Nirbananda. So anyway, then Swami Nikhilananda wanted an assistant. Swami Kailashananda arranged. You see. So when I was coming, I had to take the cargo boat or freighter. It was all right, but when I came to mid-Atlantic, you see, my suitcase, I was telling you our dining table, my suitcase was, we call football, was from this side of the cabin going to this side. And I was hearing the call of the captain, the be ready emergency call. Emergency call. You go to this boat, you go to that boat. Then I thought, you see, I am going by boat, but suppose the boat capsizes. Then I am good in swimming in the lake, but I don't know much about ocean swimming. And there is and there may be a shark. Your imagination, you see. But Shankara uses that shark, Deha Buddha. If you identify yourself, you are as if you are taking hold of a shark to cross a river. As it were. You will be in the stomach of the shark. So Shankara, our consciousness is singular, never dual or plural. That we learn from Schrödinger, what is life. So when we think that body is real and world is real, we are involved in Maya. In order to get rid of Maya, we need the help of a guru, who will be like a helmsman, who will take us across. Ferryman, take me across. That is what. So you have there called the Sadhana Shakti, that you perform japa and dhyana. You repeat the name. There is something like water in the plant. If you water the seed, then it will grow. If you do not water, then your mind will be engrossed in various things of the world and conflicts will prevail. And so here Sri Ramakrishna will help you if you are sincere and honest, if you are true to the ideal. And so I have seen that time when I know, obviously there is a saying called man's adversity is God's opportunity. So I had to think of the mantra given by Holy Mother. And at that time, Holy Mother, I was thinking, you see, now why not Swami Nikhilan, my good friend, pay a little more money? I could have like Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, from Bombay. The big boat, they are big boats, you see, they will not be, they will not have so much of called oscillation or perturbation. It's a small boat, cargo boat, 12 passengers, like that. So why not, I mean, in order to save a little money? My life is at stake. So anyway, never find fault with others. That is only my lesson. That is only my karma. I should have thought it my karma to be patient and also see the divine hand. When dangers and difficulties come and you need a hand to support you, a heart to feel for you, you will feel the presence of that heart and the presence of that hand. So you will find then, you see, then I pray to the Holy Mother. Mother, I do not know who you are, but I need you. And I repeat that mantra, that it is out of necessity. That at this time you alone can help me. But that is, so it worked. It was. Next day, everything was calm and cool. Everything, you see. That day, the captain did not come to the dining hall. You see, they are all with the crew, members of the crew. They are all a lot. So this I like Western way. That Western are very organized. When difficulties and dangers come, they all pull together references. You see, they do. Through blood, toil, and tears, as Churchill said. When you see England was bombed by Germany, you see, Churchill became the prime minister, and he was a very outstanding speaker. He was a very outstanding speaker. And he said, we British people are known for our patriotism. We will win. But there is no easy method. We will win through blood, toil, and tears. Therefore, we find that spiritual life also, there will be many dangers and difficulties, but you have faith in the Guru and the faith in the Ishta, the chosen ideal. Then clouds of ignorance will disappear, sunshine will come, and enthusiasm, strength will enter into the horizon of the mind. So here we find that this idea of God as mother, you see, it is, we find Sri Ramakrishna worshipped God as mother. I have written in the book it is a kind of bridge between time and timelessness. Because this idea of time, it is not the called Augustine view of time. Augustine and St. Augustine speak called a linear view of time. Time has a beginning and a time has an end. But this time, which is the Einsteinian view, it is relative to the mind. So our the problems will be completely solved. We can transcend mind and reach the exalted state of consciousness where there is no distinction between the Pratyagatman and the Paramatman, the individual soul and the universal soul. And therefore spiritual life is intended for those people who would awaken their spiritual consciousness and reach the topmost height of realization and reach perfection, reach immortality, reach freedom in this very human existence. But how do they live after attaining that? Bashantavat lokahitam charanta. You see, there I find Shankara's ideal to some extent is Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti Sukha Hetave, that we have come here to attain freedom. But here I would like to present to you the Bodhisattva ideal, that after attaining Jivan Mukti, he wants for not personal salvation, universal salvation. Buddha retraced his steps from the thraldom of Nibbana and vowed as long as there is one soul unredeemed, he will not enter into it. So similarly we find Maharaj, take for example Maharaj, he attained Nirvikal, after that is for the good of us all. You see. Swamiji, we find among the illumined souls also, you'll find there are silent forces. Another was articulate force. Swamiji was very articulate. But Maharaj was silent. And when you came to Madras, we'll give a welcome to the president of the Ramakrishna order, you see. And we like him to give a talk, a speech, you see. And what will be the subject? Because Swamiji spoke there in Madras 4 beautiful lectures, you see, and they cherished those lectures very much. So they thought that Swami Brahmananda also will be lecturing in Gokul Hall or some hall, public place. But Swami Ramakrishna said, Swami Brahmananda will not have to lecture. Those people who have organized, come and sit at his feet. A few words they'll drop from his lips. We, his assistants, will spin out into lectures. So here called Sutra and Bhashya. You see, they are called the great mystics. They live in a higher state of consciousness. And there are messengers who will spread this message to the rest of the world. But real message cannot be preached without purity of life, without sanctity of life, without holiness of life. And that is the reason why you see, you find that religion becomes stagnant when religion cannot produce illumined souls. Which will, when it can produce, then it's like a flowing river. But when a river gets into a sandbank, you see, it shows that its vitality is less, has become pure, poor. So we ask the blessing of Sri Ramakrishna. Is my time over?
Right, but you can take it if you understand.
It is a great privilege for me to speak to you this evening. And as I have said before, it is a place of pilgrimage. And here I have met Swami Prabhupada, and other great Swamis also have come here. And you have kept the fire burning, you see. And people are coming. And sometimes people go away also. But this is nature. This is nature. You see, it reminds me of a tree. We have in our compound, we have got an apple tree, you understand? And if you judge the tree by the falling of the apples, you have to be neutered. Is it not? the gravitation theory. But to me it is not that. I will see whether the tree is still alive, the fruits that are still on the branches. Because it is this, those who have come, they have come on account of their good sanskaras, good karmas. And wherever they go, the Sri Ramakrishna will be with them. And they may come back, they will come back, who knows, you see. They have gone there just a little bit of excursion. By reading the poem on excursion, Swamiji went to Sri Ramakrishna, is a Wordsworth poem. So anyway, it is a kind of sightseeing purposes people go. But again, they will come back to the roots, you see, the home, you see. So we see here, obviously when I came there in the shrine, I as it felt Swami Prabhupada was meditating there. And then probably afterwards he was telling me that today you have come on time. Usually you come late. My plane was quite in time, well on time. And then so many incidents have taken place. You see, the old memories come. As you called in this country, two things are very precious. Old friend, you see, our good, those brothers with whom we worked here, like Swami Brahmananda, Swami Ashokananda, Swami Nikhilananda, Swami Vidishananda, you see. And so there, anyway, and another thing I have not tested, which you call old wine. One I have heard and one I have actually experienced. And so I think, but here I can tell you, there's a blessing of Maharaj. Maharaj, I feel, is with us. He will guide us, he will help us. When Maharaj helps us, Mother also. Because three people I will never forget. Maharaj for giving me brahmacharya. Although asking 108 rupees, but I did not have to pay. Yeah. And Mother for giving me her blessing in the form of initiation. And Swami Saradananda for giving me sannyas. So these three great souls, I must be loyal. I must be steadfast.
108 rupees story you are going to say?
That's 108 is in my book, it is there. Swami Saradananda introduced me to Maharaj. See, then Maharaj said to me that I will give you, when Swami Saradananda left, then Maharaj said to me, I will give you initiation, you have to give Guru Dakshina. Means honorarium to the Guru, and you have to give 108 rupees. Then I said, Maharaj, you see, I'm a penniless brahmachari, because when you join the order, you cannot have any money with you. As Christ says, you see, sell all thou hast and give to the poor and then follow me. You see, to follow God means there is also a path. There is a pravitti marga, there is a path of from experience, and then renunciation will come gradually. And there another path is nibritti marga. So Maharaj, then Maharaj said, I tell you a solution. You go to Sharat Maharaj, Swami Saradananda, because he has introduced me to him. Then I went to, I took a boat and went. Then Swami Saradananda said that you tell Maharaj that all the money that, no, Swami Saradananda is very rich. He's very rich. And Udbodhan is also very rich. So it will not matter at all to give $108, 108 rupees. Then when I said that, Swami Saradananda said, you go that, see, Swami Saradananda has personal account, is quite rich, and also Udbodhan has it, because sells books, and Udbodhan magazine and all that. Then he said, you go and tell all the money, because he is the head of our order, he is the president, all the money belongs to him. And whatever you want will be given. Then when I came to Belur Math, then I do not have any faith in empty words. It must be documented. So I went the next day. And that day, Roshan says, I will go to Maharaj to see him and talk personally. Then I came, then I bowed down to Maharaj. Then Swami Saradananda said, you go, I will talk to him. But Maharaj, after Swami Saradananda talked to him, then afterwards he went. But Swami Saradananda did not give any money because he did not because here, he always had to ask the manager to get, but they did not bring any money. But we brought some sandesh and other things there, offered for Sri Ramakrishna. But nothing, no talk about giving of money. Only Maharaj was very kind. He said your health was not good, you went to famine work, relief work, and you were suffering from malaria. So you don't fast, not complete fasting. You take Thakur's prasad. They offered fruits, and we asked for milk and fruits. And also you don't take bath. Early in the morning you have to take bath, and then you don't, but the early morning bath, you sprinkle some Ganges water, you see. Maharaj, but one said, you asked or talked to Swami Shuddhananda, because Swami Shuddhananda wanted some rules, you see. But Maharaj will give initiation, monastic initiation, either brahmacharya or sannyas, whenever you will have a mood, you see. But Sudhir Maharaj wanted to make some, but it should be, in those days were 3 years, you see. So you also asked Sudhir. So we went to Sudhir Maharaj, all of us. Then if Maharaj wants to give Thakur's son, what can I do? But a time will come, we have to make some rules. Yeah, he said that. But he came, he became our Acharya. And also Maharaj said, you see, you should learn all the mantras, Sanskrit mantras they are doing, know their meaning. Don't simply repeat like a parrot, you see. They have tried to know the meaning. So we learned, Sudhir Maharaj explained to us all the vows that we will be taking. And Maharaj gave, the home of fire was there, and Mahapurush Maharaj was there, all that. And all of, one by one, and he blessed us. And that, Shabadhuka dura korile darshanati. All our sorrows disappeared by the divine touch, which came from a divine heart to bless mankind with pure love, with unwavering faith, and perennial wisdom. So we are fortunate that we are at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. May Sri Ramakrishna bless us all. I commend you all to the care of Sri Ramakrishna, who is the source of our inspiration, who is the very embodiment of wisdom. I commend you to the care of Holy Mother, who has blessed me, to bless you generously and lift your consciousness from the world of Maya, relative time and existence, to the world of pure love and unfettered wisdom, so that we may be instruments in the hand of God to play our parts honorably, with distinction, and with humility and reverence for accepting